I saw when you opened that social media app and your chest tightened. You looked at the photos, the trips, the wide smiles, and silently asked, why is everyone moving forward except me? I felt the weight of your sigh in the empty kitchen, while the coffee cooled and doubt-warmed your soul. You are here because you need to know if I forgot you in that seemingly endless waiting room. I stopped what I was doing in the kingdom to tell you that your waiting time is not wasted time, but rather the soil, where I am planting something that others could not bear to carry. Many look at your silence and think you are standing still, but I see your roots growing deep. Today, I will show you why your clock shows a different time than the rest of the world and how your promise is being woven in secret. If you remain with me until the last second of this message, I will whisper a phrase to your heart that will change the way you look at the mirror and at the future. There is a clear answer reserved for the end, a key that I only give to those who do not give up on listening to me. Those who write this final phrase in the comments will seal a new era of clarity in their lives. If this word that comes from my mouth is reaching the deepest places of your soul now, speak to me down here. Tell me your name, from which corner of this world you are listening to me, and what time the clock shows in your human time. I want to hear your voice, and like a cry that rises from the depths of a heart that can no longer bear the silence, write in these lines below, "My Lord God, I am here." I subscribe to this channel because I love you with all my being, and my soul thirsts to hear your voice. I know the echo of your silence in the early morning. I know the cold that rises through your feet in those hours, when sleep eludes you, and your mind becomes a court where you are the only accused. You look at the ceiling and count down everything that hasn't happened in your life yet. You count the years that have passed, the wrinkles that have appeared from waiting so long and with a sharp pain. You count the steps of those who have passed you by and seem to have already arrived ahead. It seems that life is a wide road where everyone is speeding in fast cars, while you feel your feet are stuck in heavy, damp mud. You feel stagnant, as if heaven were made of bronze and my promises had been delivered to the wrong address by some divine mistake. But listen to what your Father tells you now. I don't work with paper schedules or human calendars. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1, I have written for you that everything has its appointed time, and there is a time for every purpose under heaven. You look at your neighbor's harvest, but you didn't see the harsh winter he secretly endured. You see their walk, but you don't see the abyss I saved you from falling into by keeping you exactly where you are now. Remember that day, 3 weeks ago, when you cried hidden in the bathroom so no one would hear your sobs. I was there, leaning against the door, guarding your heart. I collected every tear and used them to water the seed that will bloom in your next season. You think you're standing still, but I'm just calibrating you for the glory that's coming. Don't compare yourself to those already on stage. Your clay backdrop is where I'm forging your golden armor. But there's something you haven't yet realized about this desert of yours. Something I hid among the stones of the path, and that I will only reveal to you now that your heart is ready to understand. You think the path is closed. But what if I told you that the door was never locked from the outside, but rather being prepared from the inside? If this word touched your heart, leave your sign of affection here. If you know another daughter of mine who feels paralyzed, send this breath of hope to her. Tell me deep in your soul, have you been able to see the small miracles that I place in your day, or has the rush of the world blinded your eyes to what is already yours? Write in the comments our word of faith for this moment, strong root. Stay with me, because what I am about to reveal to you will show that the banquet of others is only a shadow of what I have prepared for your table. You sit at the table and look at your plate, but your appetite has vanished along with your hope. I saw it when you ran your finger across that cold screen of your phone earlier today. I saw your eyes shine, not with joy, but with the reflection of tears that stubbornly refuse to fall as you watch the feast at the house of someone you know. Their banquet seems lavish, doesn't it? The smiles seem endless, the trips are colorful, and the achievements are announced with trumpets that pierce your silence. You look at your table and see only emptiness. You feel your life is a dry desert, while your neighbor's garden is watered with the waters you prayed for. But let me tell you a secret that only those who know the depths of souls understand. Many of those lavish tables you see from afar are set on shifting sands. You see the banquet, But I see the hunger of the soul they try to hide with filters and appearances. You see their journey, but you don't see the weariness of those who run without knowing where they are going. In my holy book, in Psalm 23, verse 5, I promised that I would prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. And do you know who your greatest enemy is today? It's not the person who prospers, but the comparison that steals your peace. Your table isn't empty because I've forgotten you. It's being cleared to receive something you're not yet strong enough to carry. If I gave you the other person's banquet today, you would choke on the problems that come with it. Every achievement has its weight, and I know the exact strength of your shoulders. You look at your kitchen, feel the weight of the silence, and think your life has stopped. But I am here, sitting in the front chair, waiting for you to stop looking at other people's windows and look at me. There was a time when you also walked fast, remember? But you were losing me in the rush. Now, in this time of apparent paralysis, I'm teaching you to savor my presence. You don't need to rush to get to where I am already waiting for you. The banquet I am preparing for you will not be posted to gain the approval of men, but will be lived for the glory of my name. Do you feel that slight tremor in your hands now? It is your soul trying to break free from the chains of anguish you feel unwillingly. Let it go. What is yours is being cooked over the low fire of patience, because what is done in haste does not sustain the soul for eternity. If this touch in your heart makes sense to you, leave your sign of affection here so that I know you heard. Share this word with that friend who also only sees the grass on the other's face, and tell me one thing. Deep in your soul, what have you been most envious of in others lately that has prevented you from seeing what I have already placed in your hand? Write in the comments our word of offering, table set. Do not be deceived by the brilliance of others, for the most beautiful stars are those that shine in the deepest darkness. But there is still a secret about the light I am placing in you, a secret that involves what you consider your greatest failure, and that will be the basis of your greatest offering. I see how the world's light tries to blind you, beloved daughter. You look at the lights of others and feel that your light is small, like a flame swaying in the wind in a dark and cold corridor. But I tell you that the greatest beauty is not in the light that everyone sees on the stage, but in the strength that refuses to be extinguished when everything around tells you to give up. You are here, listening to my voice now, and that in itself is a miracle of resistance that I honor. At this moment, as your heart quiets in my presence, I want to invite you to a gesture of surrender that is born from the soul and not from human obligation. If it is possible for you, only if you feel that this word is a balm for your wounds, transform your gratitude into a seed of love for this channel. I ask that you consider my love and the sacrifice of my Son Jesus, and contribute using the link I left in the description of this video and in the pinned comment. There, you will find the place where your offering of love can be deposited and consecrated before me, the Creator of all things. You can contribute any amount your hand can reach. If you want a different amount, just type the desired amount. And always remember, I receive with love only what fits peacefully in your heart. The amount doesn't matter. What really matters is the heart with which you give, because what is little for you can be a lot for the one who receives this message on the other side. Whoever contributes any amount with a sincere heart, don't forget to leave your name and city along with your contribution. For on the first day of the following month, in a unique and special video on our channel and page, Divine Love, the Voice of God, your name will be remembered, mentioned in gratitude, and covered with divine blessings released in prayer. For it is written in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7, "Each one must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver." Every offering made in faith is a holy seed before me, your Lord, and I will not fail to bear fruit from any of them. I see the secret of your gesture and reward you in the sight of all. Remain with me until the end of this message, because I still want to touch the depths of your heart with my voice. Tell me, daughter, do you feel that your generosity has been tested during this time of waiting? Write in the comments, our word of gratitude, living offering. You look at the brightness of your cell phone screen and see what you call perfection. It's a stage of polished glass where nobody cries, nobody feels pain, and success seems to spring forth effortlessly. But when you set that device down on the table and look around, you see your own clay backdrop. You see the dishes you haven't yet had the strength to wash, you smell the reheated coffee, and you hear the hum of your old refrigerator that insists on working in the afternoon silence. You look at your hands and see the skin marked by time. You feel the weariness in your shoulders and you think, why is their life made of crystal and mine of this dark, damp earth? I want you to understand a truth that the world tries to hide from you. Glass, however bright it shines, is fragile. It cannot be molded after it's made. If it suffers an impact, it shatters and cuts whoever touches it. But clay. Clay is my favorite raw material. It is flexible. It withstands the pressure of my hands. And even when it seems to have lost its shape, I can mold it and start again. In the book of the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 18, verse 4, I have recorded for you. And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter, so he made it again another vessel, as seemed good to the potter to make it. You feel stagnant, because you don't understand that the time I spend molding your clay is the time that ensures you will not break when the strong wind blows. Those people you envy on the glass stage are one stumble away from total ruin, for they have no root, only appearance. You, however, are on my wheel. I feel every roughness of your soul. I feel the small stones that life has thrown into your heart, and with divine patience, I am removing them one by one. Do you feel that weight in your chest now? It is the touch of my hands removing what no longer serves you, so that the vessel may be perfect. Don't be ashamed of your behind-the-scenes struggles. Don't feel inferior because your home is silent, or because your achievements don't fit into a colorful photograph. What I am doing in you is too profound to be seen at a glance. While the world applauds the fleeting glint of glass, I celebrate the resilience of your clay. You are being forged in the fire of waiting, and nothing that is tested by fire comes out of there without authority. Have you ever felt like just a forgotten piece of earth while everyone around you shines like jewels? Tell me, what hurts you most when you compare your routine to the perfect life you see on the internet? Write here in the comments our word of trust, accepting my process in you, holy clay. Stay close, because now that you understand who you are in my hands, I need to show you that this invisible growth of yours is exactly what will sustain the giant fruit that is about to sprout. Do you feel this silence in your room now? It's a silence that sometimes screams questions you don't know how to answer. You look at the horizon and it seems the finish line recedes each time you take a weary step. I know that walking alone fatigues the soul and makes the eyes heavy from searching for a sign that something is changing. If today you feel that your life is a cold and dark waiting room, I want to offer you a lamp for your feet, a gentle remedy for the wounds that comparison has opened in your heart. If your heart burns with the desire to dive deeper into my waters and find true rest from that agitation that consumes you, I have prepared something special for you. It is a gift in the form of a journey that I wrote with all my zeal and affection for my beloved daughters and sons, the digital book called Divine Love Devotional, The Voice of God. It was designed to be your companion during the early mornings of hidden tears, a map for your days of uncertainty, and a daily embrace when you feel the world is moving too fast and you've been left behind. You can find access to it in the link I left in the description of this video and also in the first pinned comment. But listen to what your Father tells you. If today is not the time, if it is not possible for you now for any reason, do not allow the shadow of condemnation to touch your door. Remain here with me, attentive and at peace, for I will continue to sustain you and guide you through every word of this message. And so, that your mind may rest and your heart may not be lost in unnecessary worries, know that as soon as you complete your registration, all instructions and access will arrive directly at the email address you registered in a simple step-by-step way, so that you can begin this journey hand in hand with me. For it is written in the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 31, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." Take a deep breath now. Feel the air entering your lungs like a breath of new life that I send to renew your vigor. You are not abandoned on this muddy road. You are simply being prepared to fly much higher than all those who today seem to be running on flat ground. Trust in me and continue walking on this journey, for what I have prepared for your life knows no delay, only the precision of my love. Tell me, daughter, do you accept me as your constant companion during this time of waiting? Write in the comments our word of intimacy. Guide me, Lord. You look at the ground in your yard or perhaps at the flower pot on your windowsill, and you see only dry, dark earth. You see the silence of what hasn't sprouted, and feel that your life is exactly like that, a garden where nothing happens. Meanwhile, you look at the garden of your neighbor, or that woman you follow, and see flowers blooming in vibrant colors, branches growing towards the sky, and fruits weighing down the branches. You feel a pang of bitterness in your chest, a pain that isn't malicious envy, but a deep weariness of always being the one who observes the growth of others without ever reaping your own. You feel forgotten beneath the earth, suffocated by the weight of days that repeat themselves like a vicious circle. But listen to what your father tells you now, while the silence of your house seems to weigh more than usual. At that moment when you sit on the sofa, and the ticking of the clock on the wall seems to mock your stagnation. There is a type of growth that the human eye, hurried and hungry for likes, cannot see. It is the growth of roots. Before I allow a tree to grow 30 meters toward the clouds, I compel it to descend 40 meters toward the abyss of the earth. You think you are standing still. But what I am doing in you is foundation work. You are growing downward. You are learning to seek water from springs that do not dry up in the summer of life. In my book, in Psalm 1 verse 3, I promise that he who trusts in me will be like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in its season. Its leaf does not wither, and whatever he does prospers. Note well what I wrote with my own finger, in its season. Those people you see walking and flourishing too quickly are often like the grass of the field. They grow in a week and wither in the next because they have no depth. You are not grass, daughter. You are an oak. And oaks take decades to become unshakable. I saw when you felt that cold tremor in your stomach, as you looked at your bills and saw that the financial progress you expected has not yet arrived. I saw the weight of the silence in your kitchen, where there were once voices, and now only the memory of those who left or who never arrived remains. You feel that time has stolen your beauty and opportunity, but I am using this darkness of your waiting to connect you directly to my heart. Roots don't grow in sunlight. They need darkness, the pressure and weight of the earth to gain strength. What you call paralysis, I call rooting. When your spring arrives, and it will arrive with a force you've never seen, your fruits will be so heavy and so sweet that no one will believe they came from someone who once felt dry and forgotten. If this revelation about your invisible growth has brought a sigh of relief to your weary soul, leave your sign of love here for me. Send this message to someone you know who is almost giving up hope of sprouting from the earth. Tell me, in the secret of your heart, can you trust that I am taking care of you even when nothing seems to change on the outside? Write in the comments our word of spiritual strength, deep root. But don't think that this time of darkness is only to give you strength. There's something about the clock in heaven that you still don't understand, and it marks a time that will surprise you as soon as the hand moves. You look at the clock on your living room wall, and the sound of the hand feels like a hammer hitting your chest. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Each passing second seems to take with it a piece of your unfulfilled dream. You count the hours, the weeks, the months and the years, and the count never balances in your favor. The world outside runs with piles of anxiety and batteries of haste, but in here, in your silence, it seems that time has rusted and stopped turning. You see your friends posting photos of grandchildren who were born, of houses that were bought, of trips to places you only know from photographs, and you feel a cold sweat running down your back, because your clock seems to have run out of power in the middle of nowhere. But listen to what your father is telling you now, while you hold back that heavy sigh that almost steals your breath. Heaven's clock doesn't use human batteries and isn't adjusted to Earth's time zone. You are trying to measure my eternity with your 30-centimeter ruler, and that's why you feel you're behind schedule. You look at your social security number, your birth date, and feel that your expiration date for happiness is approaching. You think that because you are 40, 50, or 60 years old, the opportunities to start over have already passed you by and caught the last bus of the night. In my sacred book, in the second epistle of Peter, chapter 3, verse 8, I wrote to calm your soul. But beloved, do not forget this one thing, that with the Lord 1 day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as 1 day. This means that, while you suffer through a decade of waiting, I can accomplish in a single second what you would take a lifetime to build. My clock is moved by my sovereignty, and I have never been late in helping a daughter who trusts in me. I saw when you woke up at 3 in the morning, your heart racing, thinking that your life is a never-ending cycle. I saw the weariness in your eyes when you realized that your bank account remains the same, that your health still requires care, and that the hug you so long for has not yet reached you. But let me tell you a truth. The hand of my time only moves when your structure is ready to bear the weight of the blessing. If I were to give you today what I have prepared for 2 months from now, you would not have enough hands to hold such glory. You feel you are standing still, but I am only holding your arm so that you don't cross the street before your time. The world is rushing towards the precipice, daughter, and you have complained to me because I have kept you seated on the park bench, protected under my shadow. What you call delay, I call alignment. I'm aligning hearts, circumstances, and paths. Don't compare yourself to the speed of someone without a destination. You have an entire kingdom waiting for you. If this understanding of my time has brought rest to your exhausted mind, leave your sign here for me. Share this message with those who also feel that time is passing and life is slipping away. Tell me one thing, with all the sincerity of your soul. Could you trust me for 1 more day, knowing that I have my hand in control of your tomorrow? Write in the comments our word of peace, surrendering your calendar to me. My time. But prepare your heart, because what I'm about to reveal to you is the deepest secret about your days of waiting. What you have called a cruel delay, I have called the greatest deliverance in your history. Do you remember that night, about 2 years ago, when you slammed your fist on your living room table until your hand burned? You were furious with me. You had planned everything, put on your best clothes, prepared your heart for a positive answer that never came. That door slammed shut in your face, and you tasted the bitter taste of failure in your throat. You looked to the sky and silently cried out, "Why did the Lord stop me now? Why did he let everyone else pass and leave me here alone, with this feeling that time is swallowing me alive?" Let me tell you what your physical eyes couldn't see that night. While you wept on the sofa, feeling the cold creep up your legs and the weight of loneliness tighten your chest, I was out there, guarding your path. You see the delay, but I see the abyss that was just around the bend you so desperately wanted to take. You see the delay, but I saw the wolf hiding behind that opportunity that seemed perfect to your weary eyes. You asked me for a wide path, but I gave you a roadblock, because that path would lead you to a place where your soul would die of thirst. In my holy book, in Psalm 121, verse 7, I left a promise that you need to tattoo on your memory today. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your soul. Do you understand the depth of that word? I didn't promise you would understand everything right away. I promised I would keep you safe. Often, my love for you manifests itself through a no. My care for you translates into a wait a little longer. You think the world moves on and you stay behind, but the truth is that the world rushes towards danger, and I keep you safe under my wings. Even if you complain about the shade, remember that weariness in your eyes when you saw your phone didn't ring with the news you were expecting. That silence was my protective embrace. If that door had opened, you would have lost the peace that, despite everything, still dwells in your home. You would have become entangled in bonds that would suffocate you for decades. I am freeing you from pains you don't even imagine exist. Do you feel that tremor of uncertainty now? It's just your humanity trying to control what belongs to my divinity. Relax your shoulders. Breathe. What you call a cruel delay, I call the greatest deliverance in your history. If this revelation about my invisible care has brought a little light to your troubled soul, leave your sign of affection here. Share this message with that person you know is suffering because a door recently closed. Tell me something, deep down in your truth. How many times have you thanked me for the no's I gave you, or can you only see what you lack? Write in the comments our word of gratitude for the protection, my shield. But don't think I called you only to protect you in hiding. There are signs of progress that you have ignored because you are too focused on other people's lives, and I will show you now how your desert has already begun to bloom with flowers whose fragrance you have not yet smelled. You've been walking with your eyes so fixed on the horizon of others that you've tripped over the flowers I planted on your own carpet. I saw you take a deep breath this morning, feeling that weariness in your eyes that seems to come from deep within your soul, and look at your room thinking that nothing has changed since last year. You look at the same walls, the same furniture, the same routine and say to yourself, I'm in the same place. But I who see what your mirror doesn't show tell you, you have ignored the giant steps you've taken within your own heart. Remember that pain that 6 months ago made you breathless just thinking about it. Today it's just a scar that no longer throbs. Remember how your heart raced with anxiety when opening an account or hearing the phone ring. Today you have a peace that, although small, is solid. You think that walking is just changing addresses, changing cars, or showing off a gold ring. But I tell you that the greatest step anyone can take is the step towards inner healing. You are walking, yes. You are walking away from that bitter woman you once were. You are walking closer to my voice. In the book of the prophet Zechariah, chapter 4, verse 10, I asked you a question that echoes to this day. For who has despised the day of small things? You have despised the small signs because you wait for an earthquake of blessings, while I am speaking to you in the gentle breeze of a day that ended in peace. You ignored that smile you managed to give your neighbor, ignored the strength you had to get out of bed on that day when sadness was a leaden blanket. You ignored that. Despite everything, your table still has bread and your roof still protects you from the rain. I saw when you stood before the kitchen sink, your hands immersed in cold water, and for a second felt an inexplicable relief. That was me, whispering that your process is moving forward. Every time you choose not to complain, you take a step. Every time you decide to trust, even without seeing anything, you run a kilometer in the kingdom of the Spirit. Stop looking at your neighbor's artificial grass, which shines but has no life, and start watering the sprouts of hope that are emerging in the cracks of your asphalt. You are not stagnant. You are in a silent metamorphosis. If this awakening to my small miracles in your life has brought a new warmth to your heart, leave your sign here so that I know you heard me. Send this message to that person who constantly demands results from themselves that the world requires. Tell me, with all the sincerity of your being, if you look back at who you were a year ago, do you really believe that nothing has changed? Write in the comments our word of spiritual perception. I see your sign. But don't dwell only on what has already passed. There is one last curve on this road before you step onto the land of your spring, and I need your feet to be firm for what I will reveal to you next. You're tired, aren't you? I feel the weight of your eyelids when you look at yourself in the bathroom mirror before bed, searching for some sparkle that routine has stolen from you. I see it when you rest your forehead against the cold tile of the wall, closing your eyes just to avoid facing the silence of the hallway. You feel that your strength is gone, that your stock of hope has run out, and that the road, besides being lonely, has now become too dark to travel. You look ahead and only see a sharp curve, a wall of uncertainties that seems to say that your path ends there, in the middle of nowhere. But listen to what your father tells you now, while the wind outside rattles the window and you press the blankets against your chest. The last curve is always the most dangerous, the steepest, and the one where discouragement screams the loudest. You are exactly at that point. You walked miles of desert, crossed valleys of tears that no one saw, endured the scorn of those who walked faster than you, and now, when you are just a few meters from your spring, you think of sitting by the roadside and giving up. You think paralysis is your destiny, but I tell you that this bend is where I hid your greatest surprise. In my holy book, in the letter to the Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, I left a command that sustains your tomorrow. And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap, if we do not give up. Note that I did not say that you would reap in your neighbor's time, or in the time of that woman who flaunts empty victories. I said, in due season. Your time to reap is just behind that curve you so fear. If you stop now, you will miss the fragrance of the flowers I have already planted, which are ready to bloom. I saw the trembling in your hands today as you held the glass of water, feeling that your body no longer keeps up with the haste of your soul. I saw it when you looked at old photos and felt nostalgic for a time when you believed more. But do not let weariness steal your vision. Spring does not arrive announcing with trumpets. It begins in the silence of the earth that softens with the rain. The ice of your winter is melting today. That stagnation that was suffocating you is losing its strength because I myself am pushing the stones from your path. Do you feel that gentle warmth beginning to warm your heart now? It is my presence reminding you that the last curve is not the end. It is the portal to your promise. Don't look back, don't look to the sides. Look to me. I am your guide on this road, and I have never lost my way back home. If this certainty that your victory is near has brought new breath to your lungs, leave your sign here for me. Send this message to that person you know is at the limit of their strength. Tell me with all your soul. What would you do if you knew that your harvest is just one step away? Write in the comments our prophetic word of persistence. Almost there. Stay with me until the last second, for we have reached the moment of final revelation. There is a key that I promise to give you, a secret that will seal everything we have discussed so far. My daughter, now that the silence of this message envelops your soul like a cloak, and the noise of the world seems to have stayed on the other side of the door, I want you to take one last deep breath with me. You arrived here with a heavy heart, feeling the weight of that question that haunted you all day. Why does everyone move forward except me? I saw when you closed your eyes and felt a dry lump in your throat, as you saw that the lives of others seem like a rushing river, while yours seems like a drop stopped on a dry leaf. But now, after everything I have revealed to you, can you feel that your stopping was, in fact, my preparation? You are not forgotten in a dark corner of history. You are kept in the safest place in the universe, the palm of my hand. The world measures success by speed, but I measure it by the depth of the root. That feeling of stagnation that made you feel the cold ground beneath your feet and the weight of the silence in the kitchen is, in fact, the foundation of a palace I am building within you. Don't look at the clock on the wall, for it is driven by gears that break. You look to me, for I am the Lord of time and seasons. At the beginning of this journey, I promised you an answer, a spiritual key that would open the door to your peace and give you strength to cross the final bend. And here it is, whispered now in the center of your being, like the seal of my victory in your life. Or, this is the phrase you must carry as a shield against comparison and as a sword against discouragement. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. This promise, recorded in the book of Philippians chapter 4 verse 13, is not about having the power to do everything the world demands, but about having my strength dwelling within you to endure any waiting and overcome any desert. You can do all things because I am your all. I want you to seal this word now, right here in the comments, with all the authority of your faith and with the certainty of one who no longer compares themselves to others. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. As you write, feel the chains of comparison falling to the floor of your room. Do not turn away from my voice now that your soul has begun to blossom. I still have much to reveal to you, mysteries that heaven holds for future encounters. Continue listening to what I have to say through the playlist on our channel, for each message is a step on the ladder of your restoration. I will still be here whispering secrets to your heart in the coming early mornings. I am your footstep when the ground seems to disappear. I am your voice when the world tries to silence you. Your time to shine has already begun within my heart.